Welcome to this class. This one will be a continuation from where we left. So the first thing that we started, going back to this question, we had all these transactions, which are business transactions, and we are looking at ABC, the way they started their business with the capital. Then for the requirement, you are required to record the transactions in the appropriate journal entries, which we already did that. Then the second thing was to post the accounting entries in the appropriate ledger accounts and balance them off. And in regards to that, we also need to extract the closing balances. Then part C, it's whereby we are required to prepare a trial balance as at 30th September 2022. So we already have our journal entries in place. This one, we already looked at it. Then the other thing was to post these transactions, the entries where we were pulling from the journal entries. And now we have these accounts. We have a bank account. We have, for this bank account, we were able to extract the closing balance, which is the 600,000. And for this 2 million, I said in our last class that you foot and rule the 2 million on both sides. So we have 2 million here and 2 million on this other side. This one is a balance carried forward, or rather referred to as balance carried down, and you have the 600,000. So we go to the second one, and please note the 600,000 aside, and you brought it down on this other side, which happens to be on the debit side. Then we continue with the capital account. This is the way you close it. You close the account. So we only had bank account, this posting on this side, 2 million. Put the 2 million on this other side, and you balance it off by having the 2 million. You extract, once you have the balance carried forward on the debit side, you bring it forward on the credit side. So you have balance brought forward, and the figure is 2 million. So note it down, it's on the credit side. So the other thing that you need to do is you have the drawings account. We have the debit side and the credit side. So again, the balance carried forward is on the credit side with 150 million. You bring it forward in the following month, which is 1st October 2022, 150,000. Then we proceed to Tom account. So with Tom account, look at this account. So we have the debit side here. This one is the debit side, and it's too big. The writing is too big. Let me try to reduce. Just reducing the font size. So yeah, good. Now we have the debit side. So the debit side, we only have 600,000. The credit side for Tom account, we have 600,000. So we do not have any balance carrying. We are not carrying any balance forward. The account is closed, but you need to put the 600,000 on both sides. So the way I'm doing it, you do that to your what you have. So no balance, there's no balance that we are carrying forward and nothing to bring in the following month. Remember the foot and ruling, whereby you foot and rule this one, 2 lines here, 2 lines before the 600,000, and this other one 600,000. So for Tom account, there's no closing balance. Then we go to Jane account. So for Jane account, we have this one is the debit side, and this one is the credit side on the right. That one is our credit side. And we have for Jane account, we only have 400,000. So what we are supposed to do is by the end of the month of September, which happens to have, we have, September has, sorry, September has 30 days. So the end of the month for Jane account, we'll have it on 30th September 2022. And the details we write balance. Sorry for that. Let me go back to Jane account. Yeah, here we have. This one is Jane account. So we write it's B balance carried forward or balance carried down. The amount on the other side is 400,000 and you close it off here, 400,000 like that. And on the other side, you have your 400,000. You foot and rule the two lines, the way I showed you, two lines below the 400,000. That one you refer to as foot and rule. Now, so before I proceed, so before I proceed for Jane's account, so we've carried forward on the debit side. So we need to bring down this amount, the 400,000. So you'll bring the amount beginning the first month, which will be 1st October 2022. And the amount that you're bringing forward, you write the balance brought forward or balance brought down, brought down like that. So the amount is 400,000 like that. And you note it somewhere, that is Tom's account. It's on the credit side and the amount is 400,000. Then we proceed to purchases account. So for purchases account, we have this one. Let me include the date, 04/09/2022. That is for Jane's account. So these two, add them together. You have 1 million on this side. So write 1 million. That's the total. On this other side, you also need to have a total of 1 million. So you write 1 million on the other side. So with the 1 million, so you needed to have the balancing figure, which is 1 million, and you write it on the credit side the same way I'm doing. So this one is closing down. So 30th September 2022. So you have balance carried forward or balance carried down like that. So you have 1 million. It's on the credit side. Yeah, it's on the credit side. This one is the debit side like that. A debit side. So you will bring it forward and you'll have your 1 million here, 1 million like that. 1 million. And you write here balance, balance brought forward or balance carried, not carried, brought down. Yeah, so we have brought down, brought forward or brought down. And the amount is 1 million. So it's on the debit side. That is for purchases account. So purchases account, we have it on the debit side and the figure is 1 million. So for Jane's account, the previous account we had, it's on the, that one was for Jane. That one was for Jane, 400 million. For Tom, the account was just closed down. So we have a 0 for Tom. So we proceed. We go to furniture account. So for furniture account, we start by writing here, debit side, and this other side, credit side. So we have 180. So we have here, I'd even forgotten to write here the date, 1st October 2022. So for furniture account, we have the date. We are closing on 30th September 2022. And the details is balance carried forward, or you can write, you choose balance brought, that is balance, you'll have, this one is brought down, so the other one is brought forward. So, and the amount is 180,000, like that. So both sides, you have a balancing figure of 180,000. On this other side again, you have 180,000. Now that we have our balance carried forward on the credit side with 180,000, you bring it down on this side. It's on the debit side. The figure is 180,000, and you'll have it here, balance. I'll just write one. At least you've known the name. So brought forward like that, and it will be 1st October 2022. So 180,000. Then we proceed with rent account. So for rent account, this one is the debit side, and we have the credit side on this other side. On the right side, we have credit side. So the date when we are closing down is 30th September 2022. So you have here under details, it's balance carried forward. The amount is 120,000, like that. So you balance it off, 120,000 there again. Then you have 120,000. So now that the balance carried forward is on the credit side, you bring it forward here, 120,000, like that, and you write balance brought forward, and you are bringing it forward in the month of October, 1st October 2022. And you have the rent account on the debit side, you have 120,000. Then we close down the sales account. So you have debit side, and you have here the credit side. So this Paul account, the transaction also happened on the same date, 09/2022. So we add these figures together. So the figures that we are adding together is 250,000, 190,000, and 150,000. We do not have any other. So I'll use the calculator on the screen. So I'll have, it's 250. Sorry, so I'll have, on the calculator, I'll have 250,000 plus 190,000, like that, plus 150,000. I'll get a total of 590,000. That is on the credit side. So we don't have anything on the sales account on the other side. So it's 590,000. We put the same figure on both sides of the account here. So 590,000 is the total. Also here, we need to have a balancing figure. It's 590,000. And you need to do the foot and rule on those two amounts. So here, our balancing figure that we need to carry down is, here we'll write balance carried forward, like that. And we are doing that by the 30th of September 2022. It's on the debit side. So we credit, we bring it forward here, the same amount, and it will happen when? 1st October 2022. And you'll have sorry, 590,000. So take note of that. And here you write balance brought forward like that. So 590,000 on the credit side. So then we proceed with King account. So with King account, we have 250 and 250 on this other side. So we just need to close down the account by putting the figure as shown, 250,000. And remember to foot and roll. And we have zero balance, nothing to bring forward. Yeah, debit side, and this side we have the credit side. So that's how you close the account for King. So King, we don't have anything. We go to Paul account. So for Paul account, we only have 190,000. So we put the 190 on this other side, which is the credit side. So we have credit side, and here we have the debit side, 190,000. We are closing it down on 30th September 2022. Here we have balance carried forward, 190,000. You balance the accounts off like that, you close it down. 190,000, remember to foot and rule like that. So you'll bring the amount here on 1st October. You bring it in the following month. So you'll have, it will be, yeah, so balance brought forward like that. And the figure is 190,000. So for all account, we have the opening balances on the debit side, which is 190,000. You note it down. Then you come on this other side. We have wages. So for wages, again, so we close it down on 30th September 2022. And the amount is 60,000. And the details is balance carried forward. Close the account, 60,000 on both sides. Also here, 60,000 on both sides. So you bring it forward the following month, 01, 1st of October, 2022. You write here, balance brought forward. The amount is 60,000. So for wages, 60,000. So let's close down the cash account. So cash account again here, we have this one is our debit side. And this one is our credit side. So for cash account, we need to see there's a lot of activities when it comes to cash account. So we look at the side that has a lot. So clearly we see on this side, 500 plus 250. If you add here, 500,000 plus 250,000 plus 150,000. So that one we get 800. Is it? Not 900,000. We get 900,000 like that. So 500 plus 250,000, 750 plus 150, you get 900,000. So being that this one is the side that we have, the amount is higher, you skip this one because we need to have a balance carried forward as a balancing figure. So you'll have it, we put it here, the 900,000. And also on this other side, put the 900,000 like that. Then we look for the balancing figure when we are closing down on 30th September 2022. And you realize that we have on the credit side, we have 60 and 60,000, 25,000 and 150,000. So the total, you can use a calculator. So 60 or rather even before using a calculator, can just write it here, the total, which is, we have, that is the sum, 60,000 plus 25,000 plus 150,000. You get the total of, so it's 60. So can use a calculator, which is 60,000 plus 25,000 plus 150. You get 235,000. You get 235,000 here. Let me write the total here. 235,000, like that. $235,000. So we need to get a balancing figure. Debit side, we have 900,000. And on this side, we have 235,000. So what is the difference? The difference is 900,000 minus 235,000. So if we use a calculator for that, so you'll have, let me use the calculator that is showing. So it's 900,000 plus 235,000, like that. Not even plus. I ought to have subtracted. So it's not plus. It's 900,000 minus 235,000. We get 665,000. So the 665,000 is what I will write here as the 665,000 is what I'll write there as the closing balance, which is balance carried forward. Then I'll bring it down on this other side. So I'll have 665,000 for cash, sorry. Yeah, then this one will be our balance brought forward, and it will be on 1st October 2022. So cash account, the balance is on the debit side and the amount is 665,000. Then I proceed with this other account, which is painting account. So for painting account, we only have, this one is the debit side. This one, the credit side of painting. So 25,000, we closed the account down on 30th September 2022. And you'll have balance carried forward. The amount is 25,000. So balance the accounts off. And also here, 25,000. So on 1st October, that's when we are bringing the balances forward. So we'll have balance brought forward, the amount 25,000, like that. So the debit side, that is the painting account, you have 25,000. So once we are done with that, the third thing that you're supposed to do is to have a trial balance as at 30th September 2022. So what you need to do is all the accounts that we had, you write them here. So we had a bank account. We had here, we had capital account. Then here we had drawings account. Drawings account, sorry. We had drawings account. Then we had Tom. In fact, for Tom, we did not have any balance brought forward for Tom. So that one for Tom, we can do away with it. And what I mean is all the accounts that you write in the trial balance, you only post those accounts that have the balance brought forward. So the reason why I'm not including Tom account. Tom account, this is Tom account. There is no any balance carried forward and balance brought forward. That's why we are not including Tom account. So we can proceed to our trial balance. And for this trial balance, that's why we are omitting that one. Then, so we go to Jane account. Jane, we go to purchases account. Then we go to furniture. Then rent. Then sales. We have sales here. Then from sales, King account again, we didn't have anything to do with the King. This one is King account. Look at King account. No closing balance. Yeah. So we just proceed. So we omit King. Paul has a balance. Then we have wages. We have cash. Cash. Then we have painting. Like that. So all these are the accounts. So for the amounts, for instance, we go to bank account. Our bank account, let's say for instance, we go to bank account. Now for bank account, not even from the journal entries. Now we are picking all these from the accounts now. The balances that we had. Now this one is our bank account. We had a balance carried down or forward of 600,000, which was on the credit side, but we pick this figure. It's on the debit side, so we put it on the debit side. Yeah. So we have bank here. It's on the debit side, the closing balance, and we only take the balancing figure, not the one that we were foot and ruling. We take 600,000. Capital, it's 2 million on this side. Then we have 150,000 for drawings. It's on the debit side. Then for Jane account, we have 400,000 on the credit side. We have not paid Jane. Okay, we have 400,000 for Jane on the credit side. Then purchases, we have 1 million. Furniture, 180,000. Then we proceed with the rent account. It's 120,000. Then we have sales account. We have 590. Then we have King, nothing for King, but we have Paul. Paul is on the debit with 190,000. 190,000. Then we have wages, 60,000. We have cash account, 665. Sorry. For cash, 665,000. 665,000. For painting, we have 25,000. So we can get the total now from the balances that we have, and we record here and record on this other side. So we can start with the credit side. the total. Let me get the total. So I have 2 million. So you can just use a calculator because it's 2,400,590,000. Yeah, so I can use a calculator. So it's 2 million. I can truncate the figures and have it as 2,000 plus 400 plus 590. I get the total of 2990. So that's what I'll record here. 2,990,000, like that. So on this other side, I need to get the total. And the total is, let me use a calculator, 600 plus 150 plus 1,000 plus 180 plus 120 plus 190 plus 190 plus 60, sorry, plus 60 plus 665 plus 25. You see, I arrive at the same figure, which is 2,990,000, like that. So this figure, if you've done your journal entries correct, if you posted you recorded correctly from the journal entries, if your journal entries are correct, from this point, if you post it correctly, because we are picking these figures and posting in our ledger accounts, which are banks and everything, you should be able to get 2,990,000, 2,990,000. Yeah, that's the figure. And at this point, you should be able to know if it is correct or not. So, so that's the end of our class. And I also have, you remember, there's also the journal entries that we had already posted the journal entries. So you can try it on your own, how to post the accounts and extract the closing balances. And thereafter, post it in the trial balance like this. If you do it correctly, you should be able to get the two, you should be able to arrive at a figure that is the same, both on the debit side and on the credit side. So on the same note, if you look at the trial balance that we have here, there is the rule that we've always been talking about, which is, we say there's debit, we have what we call, we have assets here, we have expenses, we have liabilities, we have drawings, we have revenue, and lastly, we have assets, and lastly, we have capital. And we've been saying for assets, for an increase, most of the time, being that these ones, it's what we own, you'll find all the assets, we have the debit balance. Like now, bank, you see, we have bank, we have even for these figure purchases, because this one is inventory, 1 million. Furniture, it's on the debit side. We proceed like that. We go to Paul. Paul is our accounts receivable. It's an asset account like that. We have wages, expenses, cash is an asset, painting. So this one should be able to guide you where they are, because they all appear in the debit side. Everything that we have on the credit side, it can either be capital We have these ones are trade payables. That is Jane. We have Jane's account with 400,000. Also for sales, this one is revenue and it's on the credit side. Yeah. And just like that. So the trial balance should be able to guide you. So that's the end of our class. Until next time, bye.